Let's assume this looks like your eBay business. Does it look like your eBay business? Well, it doesn't look like mine either, but I often feel as though this is my eBay business. Things are so busy, they happen so fast, so many things to respond to, and usually it's just me. My wife helps me a bit, but generally it's just me doing the listing, the sourcing, the pictures, the wrapping, all of that. And I feel like this is my business without all those people. It's that busy, just I don't have all that help. I'm sure that you sometimes feel that way too. I have a strong suggestion for you, and that is always assume you're going to mess everything up. The more you assume that, the less likely you are to mess everything up. I'm going to show you 3 typical examples that I hope gets you to thinking about the possibilities here. And every time there's an opportunity for error, every single time you see an opportunity for error, I want you to pounce on that opportunity and do all that you can to avoid that error. And that will keep you from not just making that error, it will start making you think properly in this frame of reference that everything's going to go wrong. So I have to put controls in place for everything. And maybe if I do that, not everything's going to go wrong. Maybe. For example, your inventory system. It probably is something like this. You probably have shelving. You probably have boxes or buckets in general. You probably have places where you don't have buckets, but you've got individual pieces. Not everything fits well in a tub. You probably, if you have this system, it's probably best not to have lids on everything. I mean, if you work in that dusty of a setting, you probably should do something about the dust, because having all these lids is just going to slow your roll. And so I strongly suggest you don't have lids on any of your boxes or buckets, that you have in an inventory system like this, because when it comes time to pull and mail inventory, you need to do so fast. Speaking of mailing inventory, you should do it early in the morning, because if it's your handling time and your handling time says we will ship today, a lot can happen if you wait till about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Your label printer can go bad, your computer can go bad. Things just go wrong. eBay could go down. Not a lot of times. Once in a while, pieces of eBay simply don't work well. One of those pieces, unfortunately, is the shipping labels. Generally, it all is smooth, but once in a while, they don't really print properly for a while. There's a glitch going on. They're updating their system, something like that. Well, your boxes have to go out. Your packages have to go out. If you've promised handling time and you want to stay at the top of the game and you want to maintain top-rated seller status and you want to appear higher and higher in the search engine rank, which is what this channel is all about ultimately. Ultimately, being a successful eBayer is nothing more than moving higher every single day in the search engine rank overall. Overall, I want you to be as close to number 1 on every item you sell in general as possible. That's our goal, and our goal is to, on the average, get higher every day. Well, you've got to ship. You've got to ship on time, or eBay will start punishing you. And they should. If you owned eBay, you would too, because you want buyers to be thrilled with the experience. And if you don't ship on time, you've lied to your buyers, you've lied to eBay, you've lied to yourself, you made a promise that you didn't keep. eBay can't continue to reward you with top search engine rank with a lot of sales if you don't do what you say. So ship early in the morning. But speaking of inventory, and speaking of not having the lids on the inventory, that will help a little bit speed you up. But some days are as busy as a mosquito in a nudist colony. Aren't they? They are. They're that busy. They're as busy as a cross-eyed air traffic controller. They're that busy. So you need to guard against problems. And one way to do that is to never store similar inventory together. Never. Never store a bunch of books together. And the books that you do put together, make them all different sizes. If you're putting them in the shelf vertically or horizontally, put different types of books together. Only sets of books go together. Like if you sell a set of vintage Hardy Boys books, 50 of those. Well, they're going to all go together. But you don't want to put a whole bunch of science fiction paperback, Bantam paperbacks from the 60s all together. Because what you're going to do is grab the wrong one. I promise you, that's a very real danger. Things get busy. Remember, I told you, they get busy. They get as busy as a toilet in Grand Central Station. Okay, you didn't need to hear that, but it can be pretty busy. You're going to grab the wrong item if you're not careful, if you store like items together. Don't do that. So store a lamp next to a set of attachments for a KitchenAid mixer, next to vintage Tupperware, next to, you get the idea. Or in the same tub, don't store 3 Christmas Santas in the same tub if they're the similar size and look. Store them in 3 different tubs. Now, sometimes someone will buy all 3, and you've got to go to 3 different places. I realize that's a problem, but you're far less likely when you sell one to grab the wrong one. Grabbing the wrong Santa in that case is very, very easy. And it's horrible when you ship the wrong item to the buyer. It's horrible because what do? The buyer's not happy. The buyer doesn't get what they want. Really bad if the buyer gets something worth 10 times what they bought, you won't even know about it until you sell, they're not going to tell you probably. And then you sell that item that's worth 10 times as much, and you go and you look, and it's no longer in your inventory. You can't find it anywhere. Well, you shipped it to the wrong person because you had 3 Santas that looked alike but were very different in value all together, and you grabbed the wrong one. Always assume you're going to grab the wrong inventory item. Things get busy. Therefore, don't store like items together. Here's another tip. I do this all the time. At first, you might think, that seems a little silly. It's not silly if I do it. You got to trust me on this. When I get an offer, which is often offers all the time, constantly getting offers, constantly responding, often accepting, almost always sending offers. If there's an offer available to send, I send it because I want to make money. If I haven't seen an item for a while that I get an offer for, if I think, it's been a few months, I haven't seen that around. Wonder if I still have that. I hope I haven't shipped that to the wrong person. If you accept an offer or counter an offer, you're on the line for that offer. I always walk to the location of that item and look in that bucket or on that shelf, and I always make sure that I still have that item, that it hasn't gotten chipped if it's glassware, that it hasn't gotten damaged by something falling on it. I always check items that I get offers on to make sure it's still okay and here in my inventory before I accept or counter any offer. Why? Because things get damaged, things get lost. And if I haven't seen it in a while, I just assume I've lost it. And it would be far better to end that listing if you can't find it, or if it's broken, or if there's a new chip on it that you didn't describe. Far better to end that listing than to counter or accept an offer, and then you're on the line to ship it, and the buyer's not going to be happy, and then you're not going to be happy. So don't do that. So if you get an offer on something you haven't seen for a while, go walk, get away from your desk and walk to wherever that shelf is and find that item and just look it over for a second or two. That's all you need to do. Make sure it's still all okay. If everything's groovy, gravy. That's wonderful. Accept the offer or counter. Here's another situation that I universally assume I will always mess up on. I am not a big multi-platform guy. I don't think you should be listing the same item on Mercari, especially on Amazon, Merchant Fulfilled, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Nextdoor. I just don't think you should do that. I think you should be master of one. But once in a while, I do of all the and I know there's software to supposedly take care of this if you want to pay for it. I don't know why you'd pay for software like that. You're spreading yourself too thin. You're spreading your inventory too thin. You're going to mess up, and you're not going to treat any platform. Plus, all platforms, they require different things. eBay wants square photos. Other platforms don't. eBay's title structure differs from Amazon's title structure. You can't just say, sell this. You can't just have software, list this item on 5 different platforms, and let me know if it sells. Don't do that. Some of that software, though, if it does sell on Mercari, it will remove the item from your eBay inventory. Nice, but you're paying for that, sometimes pretty sweet penny, and not all multi-platform listing software will remove the item. Therefore, don't. But once in a while, I will double list an item, once on eBay and once on Facebook Marketplace. Very rarely, I will list it as an Amazon merchant fulfilled item, if you know what that is. It's where I ship it myself if it sells on Amazon. Now, every time that I list something on more than one platform, let's say it's a heavy item that I would rather meet someone at the convenience store 3 blocks from here than to wrap it and ship it. Okay? Hopefully someone locally will buy it on Facebook Marketplace. I often will list items like that on Facebook Marketplace and on eBay. Very rarely I'll do a merchant fulfilled on Amazon if it's a record or a CD that can bring more money there, significantly more money, because Amazon just robs you of seller fees like nutsoid. But anytime I list on, especially on Facebook Marketplace, oh, by the way, if I happen to wake up in the morning and it has sold on eBay and on Facebook Marketplace and on Amazon merchant fulfilled, guess who gets zeroed out? I cancel the orders on Amazon and Facebook Marketplace. And neither of those marketplaces like that. eBay is my baby. eBay's my e-baby. eBay is what I nurture, and that's why I have such a strong, powerful set of selling accounts. And if you're on this channel, you are wanting that too. eBay I would never cancel because it happened to sell on multiple platforms. Why would it just all of a sudden? Well, number one, that's the way my universe works. It just sells on 3 things. If I've got it listed on 3 places, it sells at 12 midnight when I'm in bed, and I wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. I actually get up about 4 usually a.m. But whenever I get up and I see it sold in 3 places, well, I can't sell it on 3 places. I can't ship it on 3 places. Well, so sad, too bad. Amazon and Facebook Marketplace. But I do so rarely sell on Amazon that I'm just going to talk about. Usually it's Facebook Marketplace and eBay because of the shipping thing. I would rather, I don't mind shipping big things, but I'd rather not if I can just drive it up and, let the user have it, and the buyer gets it free. They don't have to pay for shipping if it's local pickup. I'd rather have that happen. Every single time I list on both Facebook Marketplace and eBay, I always post this Post-it note on the item. Always, 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 never without fail. Listed on both eBay and Facebook Marketplace. Now, they could sell at the same moment, or the same nighttime that I'm sleeping, but they probably won't. If they do, Facebook Marketplace is the one that I ignore, but I cancel that. But in general, they probably won't sell at the same time. But if I didn't have this note, I wouldn't remember that I've got so many items around here listed on inventory across accounts. I wouldn't remember every item that's on Facebook Marketplace and on Amazon if I happen to have some there. I wouldn't remember them all. I assume I will forget. I assume whenever I sell one, I'm going to forget to take it down from the other. You might say, well, multi-platform software takes care of that for me. Yeah, for a price. I don't want to pay that price. Plus, eBay's my baby. eBay's where things sell for me the most. eBay's where it's at. eBay makes me by far the most money. And I was a full-time Amazon seller for 3 years. By far, eBay is my king platform. Therefore, I will always put a Post-it note on every item that I list on multiple platforms. If I decide I've had something for sale on eBay for a while, it's large, and I think, it probably should be listed on Facebook Marketplace. If I go ahead and do that, I will right then walk a Post-it note to that item, wherever it is in my inventory, tape it or post it to the item right then before I go active with the listing. If I don't, I won't get around to it. Neither will you. That's the way my universe works. I just might write the note and it might get lost in the shuffle. Before I click send or list or whatever it is on that second or third platform, I will walk this note there and put it on there, because otherwise it won't happen. I would much rather forget to click list on Facebook Marketplace than forget to post this note on the item. Not posting this note could cost me dearly. Not clicking when I thought I clicked send to Facebook Marketplace or list or whatever the button is, not doing that costs me just an opportunity lost. Maybe it would have sold there. And eventually I'll realize, wait, that's not there and it should be. Always assume you're going to mess up, and always put controls into place that will keep you from these problems. Every time you see a problem possibly happening, every time you see a possible problem, assume it will happen and take steps right then to keep it from happening.